Don't compare yourself to others. Don't believe everything what people write down on social media either. Because are you really in their home? Did you know what's happening? If a person is running their own business, are they having a silent partner behind them? Are they having a husband who is paying for all of their bills? I see this all the time. Absolutely all the time. And as a psychic, to tune in, to see it. What words are really true, what are not. I know it's confusing. So if you are sitting down and feeling you can't do this and everyone is doing this and everyone is telling you what to do, and you feel so like ashamed and guilty and thinking that you're not in the right energy, that there's something wrong with you. Is it the inner child? Is it trauma? Is it energy? Is it energetics? What it is. Maybe some of it, there is there the truth of the energy and inner child and trauma. And some of it, it's about consistency. What maybe other people want and desire is not your dreams. What you want and desire for yourself. So you need to be very clear, what is it that you want? And I learned this from my own life experiences. I listen to people. Later on that I hear your frequency, what your words are saying. And you could be saying one word with two different ways. But my ears can hear it differently. Why? Because I hear the frequency. As the energy healer, I hear the frequency. I see it and I feel it. So even if you say the same word two different ways, it can mean two different things. Don't go in not desperate, but despair. Stick to your plan. Stick to your plan, what you wanted to do. And maybe at the time being, whatever you're going through, that seed is planted, and just maybe you reshuffle the soil, but you need to trust and not poking too fast, too quick into everything. And some things are just not going to sprout for whatever reason. Doesn't matter what somebody tells you. Are you the person who goes to the psychics? And I am one of those where it doesn't read the cards. I don't need them. I just see what I see and I say how it is. But are you one of those people where flicks the cards until it doesn't get the card what you desire, what you want? And then you say, oh yeah, this is good. I got what I wanted. Did you really got what you wanted? Or did you keep, shuffling the cards until you didn't got the card what you wanted? Do you allow the universe to show you? Maybe that boyfriend, maybe the husband, maybe the scenarios, maybe the business coach, maybe some things is just not meant to sprout. That integration of understanding what a nature is. The nature is that not everything will going to be perfect. We think that perfect day is what? How it's supposed to look like? What's the definition of it? And we expect of it, every day to be a perfect day. We expect of our children, this is what I talk about in unconscious parenting, that every day they have to be super behaved, everything has to be good, they have to sleep every night. But you're the one who doesn't sleep every night. Perfect? How do you expect of your children? And they're growing, they are learning things about themselves, about their body, about their emotions. How are you holding that? How are you leading that family? How are you leading yourself? Or we put such a high expectations of everything, and if we don't get it, then we go into the rage, and then we scream and yell, and we are flying down in the wounds of why is this happening to me? Instead of allowing it, what do you want to allow? The trust, the surrender. Be consistent what you wanted to do. With inner child, the energy, the energetics, we're always evolving and always growing and always building up a new layer. Second part is to grow and evolve, you have to compound. And what are you compounding? What are you doing in that compounding effect? And maybe if something is not working out, you need to look at it different angles, different doors, different paths, different train tracks. And if you ever participated in one of my mastermind classes, this is all the snippets from them, from my mastermind classes. And all the things what I do every single month. But I'm here to bring you revolution and evolution and resolution to the healings, through my life experiences, through the energy healing, through the mentoring. You get all of those three things if you are doing one-on-one sessions. If you buy or purchase the programs, some of them are pre-recorded, some of them are a mixture of pre-recorded and the live ones. The workbook and meditations in it to help you to step in the true authenticity of yourself. And different programs are for different things. And if you're unsure, you can always ask me. I would rather that you get the program which is the best suited for you. And all the programs what you buy, there is no refunds onto it. There are purchases. They're pre-recorded, mixture of pre-recorded and lives. But I guarantee you one thing, they'll plant the seeds inside of you. And I know that this is what's going to happen. And I can be a lot for some people because we work on three things continuously. From the energy healing to the mentoring, to psychically what I see for you, to move you, to get that outcome what you desire, whatever that is. Wealth, abundance, freedom, transformation. For each one of us is unique and different. I'm here to guide you, not to the version what I see for you. It's what you want for yourself and where you want it to go and where you want to be. Because how can I compare my wealth and my freedom and say to you, this is what you need to desire? Because for some people, that's luxury cars. For some people, that's not it. For some people, that is sailing around the world, just like a holidays. For some people, they love hustle and bustle and everything else. I personally prefer secluded, relaxing, absolutely, just from massage and a pool and simplest food what Mother Nature has got in store for us. Meditations, relaxing, no nightclubs, no people around. I just love that. I love the serenity of the temples, just quietness. That's where I recharge myself. But that's my version of the perfect holiday. And that's most likely not yours, or maybe it is. But I guarantee you one thing is, I am not going to die one day and say what I experienced in a hospital while I was working as a registered nurse, where people would say, I wish I've done this. I wish I've done that. That wishing, I don't wish for it. I make it happen. I make it happen. And I don't expect of it to be instant, because instant, it's not foundation of stability, good hard rock stability. Anything built on fast and furious is something what's not sustainable. And every single moment what I'm building, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Every piece of a puzzle of my life and everything that I experienced in my life, and the strength to walk away from people, places, or the marriages. It's the strength inside of you. So if you had to do the same thing, and I always say this, if I didn't walk away from my second marriage, I would probably be in a coffin. Because after the 4 months of marriage, it turned into the physical. It turned into absolutely abuse. So when somebody says, you failed in your marriage, did you really fail in your marriage? Because in my case, and most likely if you're in domestic violence, did you fail? Because what did I do beforehand? They were love bombing you, being amazing, absolutely amazing. And then you get married and the whole world turns upside down. And until you don't experience it, you can't judge or criticize a person because you don't know what's going on behind the closed doors. So I didn't have a failed marriage. I had a marriage where the truth came out. The truth about lots of things came out. And then I basically said, this is not for me. I don't want to be here. This is not the life what I want. And it was experience for my daughter too. That she knows, that she sees. So she knows everything about it. And now when she's studying psychology, she will know what a narcissist is because she had a life lesson of it. And for whatever reason, that was put in our paths. And if something like that happened in your life, really know that you're not alone. As much as so many times, most likely, they would feel to be alone. They would feel like so much to be alone. Because as the little girls, we were taught to be, do the right thing, smile, shake your hand, do this, do that. But when my daughter was a little girl, and she didn't want to do that to people, and I knew it. Why? I didn't say to her, you have to. I didn't. I just said, she's shy, she just doesn't want to. She's just waking up. I protected her. And she was always, Mummy, love you. Until she was 9 years old. Basically, I carried her around because she wanted to be carried around. And I enjoyed every minute of it. Even though so many people said to me, Yelena, why are you doing this for? And I'm like, I'm enjoying every minute of it. I became a mother with a reason. And I will enjoy every single moment. And I will just enjoy it. Every single memory of it. Because it will come the time when they don't want to do that. Because they become the teenagers. They ground. They do all sorts of things. Teenagers are special creatures for a couple of years, 3 or 4 years. And then we come back to be humans again. And I know if you're a parent, you're listening to it, you're probably giggling. They come back, and then one day you just go like, oh, my child is back again here. Yep. They're finding themselves. They're finding themselves, but how to hold yourself in the whole process of it. How to balance it. The children are part of your journey and part of the healing process for you. Because we didn't come just here just to live a life and just, drink and just ignore everything. Because if you are, guess what? The repetition of the contract is coming back again. And maybe if you're sitting there going like, why did so much stuff happen to me? in my life. I have like scroll full of things. God would not give you nothing that you cannot hold it. And maybe you came here to give the word or a meaning to certain things. Like I did, I had experience of narcissism and domestic violence. And now when I go to, like I did, so last week, to fundraiser, and to see the house is finished and 6 women can be in a house housed from domestic violence, it is beautiful. There is progress, there is things, and to be part of it, and to know now what to do, and how to help the women when you go and experience that, not just sitting on a lifeline and just answering the questions and just be robotic. So I always say this: align yourself. Is it for the mentoring? Is it for the healing? Is it for whatever you are after? Are you people who you can relate to it? I was never able to go and have somebody who would be talking about the parenting if they're not a parent. How would I understand how it is just because they're seeing their nieces and nephews? They don't understand it. I want to create the world where we are different, empowered women, not the feminism from a distorted masculine. Feminism and femininity is different. Energetics of femininity is totally different. When it's healed and when we understand and embody and involve, you choose then what you want to do with that part, the healed part. I choose to put in a filing cabinet and open up a new file and create the new foundations and the new things. Because just like after divorce, when I had to pick myself up and how to do it, how to go through the whole process, the dating, the man, the world, the shame, the guilt, the children, how to withhold that. And especially if you went through the same thing where you go through the divorce, their biological father was a narcissist. He wasn't, and he cheated, and we went through divorce, and I get paid out of $35,000, which is nothing. And you're sitting there going like, how are we going to do all of this? And then I go like, oh, well, I will run my own business, and I will have a second job, and I will start my own business, yeah? And I was like, this is mad, this is crazy. When I think about it now, I just go like, where did I come up with this stuff and how did I do it? But it was a sheer determination. Sheer determination that I wanted to, at the time, wanted to prove to him the point that what I see, people who crossed over and what I can help the people. And when we had it in a clinic where, for example, is a person came in and I was talking about this in one of my mastermind classes. So she came in and she had a frozen shoulder. And I was at the time a clinic manager in a clinic, and I sit down and I could see her son who is crossed over on the other side. And I said, how do I pass on the message without me look like crazy? Because back then, we're talking about more than like 10 years ago. Yeah, and back then not everyone was really open to everything, yeah? And I was like, okay, are you open to this? If I say something, and I explained to her what I was seeing, and I was asking her questions about her frozen shoulder. And I said, there is energy inside of me, and I said, if I sit down next to you, I said, I'll put hands on your body but not physically touch you, just like elevate from your body, and I will see what I see, and if I pass on the messages from your son. And not to explain the whole scenario, how everything happened is, but the point is, by the end of it, she felt better, lighter, and her frozen shoulder wasn't hurting. Because emotions of trapped loss, because she held her son when he died, was in their shoulder. And the fact that I could see it, the fact that I said to her that message, the fact that I was doing the energy healing, so 2 things, energy healing, and then I gave her mentoring, how to work through it, She cried in that 20 minutes, and this is how God organized that. Or high forces, whatever they are, whatever you call it, organized that we had the time before my ex-husband came out. And first thing was, she said to him, my shoulder doesn't hurt. Your wife is amazing. He looked at me, didn't say nothing. He took her in a room, gave her the treatment, the chiropractic treatment and everything else. And he came outside and he said to me, don't ever do that again. I said, why? She's better. Her pain is gone, like 3/4 of it gone. Obviously it's just one session, but and it was literally 15-20 minutes what I was talking to her. And he goes, don't ever do that again. Why did he say what he said? Absolutely disempowerment of him. He didn't know what to do. Instead of that, he sees it, it's a wellness. It's person getting better, releasing an emotion trapped in muscles. Because they do. Where do you think so that compacted negative emotions, they get trapped somewhere instead of your body? Is it in a muscle? Is it in a joint? Is it in your intestines? Is it in the organs? They do get trapped there. And that's why when I have got sessions with you one-on-one, I have a look of it where they're trapped. What do I see? How did it represent to me? How did it look like? What is it that I'm seeing? What age did it happen? What in a child or trauma did it happen to you? And how to release it. And how to then create a new file, new motherboard within yourself.